We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook, and we are live on Instagram. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This is Stephen coming to you from outside of Budapest, somewhere in the Hungarian nation. Yes, indeed, an American war veteran living in a small village in Hungary. Can you imagine? What is that all about? Well, I'm running from the law, if you must know. Just kidding. So, people ask me all the time, like, why are you living in Budapest, outside of Budapest? Hey, Chrissy, what are you doing? Chrissy, all right. Good to see you here. Hey, Johnny B. Scott's on board too as well. All right. Motivation girl. Okay. All right. So good morning from Texas. Indeed. So, people ask me, I'll say, what are you doing in Hungary? Why are you there? What's the benefit? Yada, yada, yo. Yeah. And it's, damn it. So simple if you think about it. I tend to like a challenge. So I would always move to a different country when I got bored. And I was fortunate to have the ability to get contracts really quickly to, hey, Haki, how you doing, buddy? Because I can, exactly. You got it. So, hey, Ibrahim, how you doing, brother? So I'm going to share this in a couple groups now. Vetpreneur Tribe, The Humble Man, Veteran Pays Forward, Immediate Impact. Let's go to the left goal setting course, immediate impact revenue, Veterans to Hire, Business Builder. Look at this. I'm going crazy today, ain't I now? Forward to Glory. Things I've learned. Nope. I'm looking for another one. I can't find it. Can't find it. There's one I need more, but I can't find a doggone thing. But whatever the case. Anyway. So, Shad. Hey, Ajay. How you doing, brother? All right. So, check it out. I'm living in the middle of nowhere in Budapest, which isn't really in the middle of nowhere. But, hey, what's up, brother? So, what's not really in the middle of nowhere? But I live here because I choose to live here and because I can live here, number one. Number two, it gives me clarity. I'm more focused out here. I don't have to worry about parking. I don't have to worry about driving to the city, all the stress and all that kind of stuff, and people screaming and yelling and dogs barking next. Actually, I do have dogs, but I have chickens, but whatever, next door. But that's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about today is real simple. Sometimes showing up is enough. And this one right here is going to hit you. I just had a call with Lane, and as you know, Lane is my business partner, and I'm glad he is. And we do a lot of things together. And one thing we're trying to do now is develop a comprehensive, hey, Andy, what are you doing, brother? Andy Nelson, man, Tom Cruise is watching. Can you believe it? On Instagram. Good to have you, brother. It's been a while. I was just talking about you the other day. I hope you're doing all right. And Ajay, I made it a priority to think about HIT every single day, and it's really, yes, Ajay, you got it, brother. It's that simple. But check this out. I'm gonna give you some more knowledge right now. It's going to blow your mind. You ready? So I was sitting with Lane, and we're trying to figure out a way to make this into a course that's explainable. And of course, when you have explainable, that it's easy to understand. And when you're, yes, Ness, I'm trying. Well, I have actually, Andy, I'm doing Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at the same time. So go figure that. And as soon as LinkedIn does live, which they're doing already in the States, so some people, I'll have 4 platforms at once, which is fantastic. So we were talking about trying to find a way. Hey, Katarina Stega, how you doing? So we're trying to find a way to explain HIT in a manner that explains the science behind it. For instance, when the science behind HIT, you can talk about there's different levels of HIT. There's showing up fully. HIT leads to trust. Manifests what you want in life. Honesty is being true to who you are and how you live. Transparency is communicating your honesty to anyone to observe, and integrity as a result of your ongoing reputation. Right. So these are the things that we were talking about. But then we said, well, what's the actual effect? What's the actual, let's say, outcome of it? Or what's the actual activities that you're doing as a hitman, hit woman, or a hit squad member? And it's like this. Simply showing up and being present with all and everything that you have creates radiant value, because you empower others automatically when you are the one that shows up and elevates them, gives them the full mood. And this is the deal. This is the hard part. Showing up without expectations. How do you show up without an expectation? Like, okay, I need to solve the problem. They're gonna expect me to solve the problem. But that's not the point. That's not the point, to solve the problem. The point is to accept everything that comes towards you as what it is, without dictating, without an expectation, without saying what you think it should or should not be, and how it should and should not be solved. Because sometimes showing up for someone is enough for them to get enough energy and belief from you to find a solution themselves. I mean, how cool is that? So showing up fully and completely with no expectations and just being there with an open mind gives you automatic purpose, because that's your purpose, is to be there without expectations and with an automatic mind. I mean, wow, think about that. I mean, sometimes we don't have a solution, and therefore we commit to the other person or the situation through our honesty, integrity, and transparency. And that's what? That's investing in relational capital, right? So that the HIT process ensures that we can always show up everywhere, fully committed to others, thus building infinite amounts of radiant value. Ooh, man, think about what that's going to do for, what that's going to do for your life, for your life enterprise. Think about what that's going to do. I mean, it's crazy, right? So it's just for me, when I think about that, it's like the commitment to whatever I'm, like, say you're a coach or you're a consultant or whatever. This commitment is what. Oh, I'm losing my connection on Instagram. This commitment is what empowers the client. Think about it. So I'm giving him power by showing up honestly and completely. I'm giving power by showing up without expectations. I'm giving them power by showing up without having expectations of them, or showing up not having expectations that what I think they should have for me, right? So I'm trying to figure that out. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what's wrong with Instagram, why it's not working, but it should be working. My wife called and suddenly it died. So excuse me if that's the case. 1 second, she's writing me. I'm very sorry about this. All right, so yeah. So when you show up fully and completely, I don't know what the heck's going on with Instagram here. Dag nabbit, that's not cool. Paused due to poor connection. Let me go live again on Instagram real quick. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened. There we go. We're going live again. We're going to give it a shot. So not sure what happened. I think because my wife called, it probably just killed it. So, oh well. Anyway, so back to HIT. So if you show up fully, well, Ajay, I think you already know that, right? So you showed up for people and you just gave freely, right? You invested in relational capital. You were present for them. You made yourself available for them, and that was the end of it all, right? You didn't have to worry about it. You didn't worry about what am I going to get, what do they want, what do I want? It's none of that. It's all just I'm here doing the best I can. I want to make everybody feel fantastic, and when I leave, they're going to love it. Simple, right? So thank you, Mohammed. Thank you very much. Karen, radiant value. Yes. Ryan. Yes. Guy, Paige. All right. Richard, enjoy your insight. Thank you, brother. All right. I love you guys. I'm not sure what's wrong with my damn Instagram here, but it's pissing me off. All right. I'm closing it, restarting it. It's not working. What the hell is going on here? Dang it. Isn't that crazy? Oh, and you're right in the middle of it. Technology just breaks your balls. Excuse me. Or if Karen Hamilton's here, nuts. You know, she's a nut lady. She sells nuts. Amazing nuts. Her nuts are awesome. All right. Chissa Botu from Greece is here. Awesome to see you. Awesome to have you here. Look, real simple. I'm talking about, I don't know what the hell's wrong with Instagram. God damn it. Anyway, I'm not sure if all of you know that HIT, honesty, integrity, and transparency, comes from a long line of my life. So it's about 20 years of my life. Being the guy that had to show up and be honest on TV in front of 10 million people, and not wanting to disappoint anyone, and most importantly, not myself. I didn't want to put a lie out there or embellish something or make it fake or whatever. So when I was on TV back in 2003 in Germany in front of 10 million people, and they asked me, Mr. Kuhn, do you support this war? And I said, no. And that no came through a decision that I made, and it took me in dog years, about 20 years, but in our life, about 10 seconds in my head before I could answer that. And I went through my whole life trying to figure out, in those 10 seconds, trying to figure out what the heck was going on, like why I wanted to be that honest, why I was not worried about what the other veterans might think of me saying I'm against the war, or what other people might say to me, wondering why, why would he do something like that? Why would he say something like that? Why wouldn't he stick to his country? Why is he not, why is he not a patriot anymore? And that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I literally was threatened like crazy in when I was living in Germany at that time. Because when I went on the TV and I said I was against the war, of course, the entire nation wanted me on their TV show, because here is an American war veteran saying he's against the war in 2003 when the war started. And if anyone remembers the axis of evil, we all know that Germany was in the axis of evil, right? So that wasn't a cool thing. That wasn't a cool thing for me either. But because I was acting according to H.i.T, to my personal honesty, integrity, and transparency, not yours, not theirs, not the TVs, not what I thought my friends and family wanted, but my own personal ones. Hello, yes, indeed. And Chissa, you're a H.i.T woman as well. I love it. So this is going to hit everybody hard. Now, this is going to make you think. Are you guys ready for this? I'm not sure if you're ready for this, but this is going to be truth right here, right now. Right here, right now. All right. Someone go live again. It's restarted my phone. This has got to work. It's got to work. And what I'm about to say is truth. And it's live again. Hello, Instagram. Sorry for the delay. I'm back. So this is going to hit you. You ready? Most people, right? First of all, let's say, hey, InSpot, how you doing? InSpot from San Diego. So we all are, as you know, the CEO of our own life enterprise, meaning we run our life. Unfortunately, most of us should be fired as a CEO, because we don't do one thing, and that is we don't answer to our stakeholders. A CEO of even a real business enterprise, and not a life enterprise, answers to one person, and that's the stakeholder or the shareholders, right? So how do they answer them? They perform. They make revenue. They ensure that the staff is there. They ensure there's a positive and productive culture in the company, correct? That's at least what they're supposed to do. So why aren't you doing that in your life? Why aren't you doing that in your life? Tell me about it. Why are you, as a CEO of your own life enterprise, not doing this in your life? I'll tell you why. Because society tells us you don't need to. You have to be like Beyonce, or you got to be like that person, or you got to follow this trend. Oh, but you got to follow that trend. Oh no, right now, trending right now is this. Trending is that. And that's where everybody says the same thing. All the buzzwords, all the Gary V hustle and grind, everybody copies one thing. And that's become popular, as in become an influencer so everyone can act like you. Or you follow the influencers and you'll always be hip. So what is that telling you to do? That's telling you not to be in charge of your own life enterprise. That's telling you to live through other people's experience. That's telling you to live as somebody else. And this is why our society is lost in many ways. But this is also why what I do is so powerful. Because when you realize that the honesty that I'm talking about is with yourself and saying, why am I doing that? Because I'm seeking what? Significance, which is a human need, right? I'm seeking significance. I'm seeking connection. That's another human need, right? I'm seeking love. That's another human need, essential human need, right? So when you realize this, how do you get that without that? How do you get love? How do you get connection? How do you get significance, right? How do you get all those human needs without that over there? Hey, Karen, I'm original. I will never trend. And that is fantastic. Exactly. And Karen, I've heard that from guys who have tattoo sleeves, beards, beard oil, twisty mustache. They look like a poster child for a beard company. And they're saying, I'm authentic. And I'm saying, I'm sorry, you're not, because you look like everybody else who's in that thing. And the same thing goes for everybody who sings the same song. Everybody goes to the club and they do the same thing. They do the same dance. They do that. Everybody's the same thing, right? There's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you want to live, that's your thing. That's your deal. But if you want true power, and I mean true power, and power not as an abusive, but as in changing the world for better and having an impact on the world around you, then you live to H.i.T. You're honest with yourself. Why are you doing that, right? If you want to feel what your true value is worth, then you stick to who you are and you go within and you find out exactly who you are and what you are, what you're made of and why you're made of it. That will empower you to the point where you can step up into anything. And here we come back to it again, wholly and fully with no expectations. And you don't bow to any expectations. That means when someone expects something from you, it doesn't matter, because they're going to get the best version of you according to your principles, not according to their principles. And that's a default for them accepting you. They're going to accept you either way, because you're doing it from a clear and clean and proper and honest place. right? Hey, Enrique, all right. All right, meeting set up for Monday. Good stuff, man. Get it going, get that money machine going. All right. So to recap it real quick, HIT is showing up fully and completely without expectation and just being there for someone creates a purpose in your life just for being there in a situation, in that very, very moment, right? And it empowers them to create the energy within to solve their own problems as well. So you don't have to have a problem answer when you show up for people. You just need to show up. Showing up is enough. It's like comforting a loved one when they're sick. You don't have to have the pills. You don't have to be the doctor. You just show up and make them feel better, right? But the truth comes here is when you're living a life dressing like they tell you to do on TV, wearing, that, singing that song, listening to what Beyonce listens to, taking your political advice from a singer, things like that, and then going out in the street and demonstrating against that because it's a singer or whatever, right? If you're taking your advice from society, you're not your own person. And HIT is you being authentic, and authenticity is overrated. It's overused now at the time. Authenticity means this. I'm exactly who I am inside, and I know my true value. I know what I'm worth, and I know who I am and why I am. And I'm not saying Simon Sinek, find your why. I'm not saying Gary Vee, find your why. I'm saying, why am I who I am? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I acting the way I'm acting? Why do I say these things? Why do I go over there? Why do I say that? Why do I watch YouTube? And when you're honest with yourself about that, you find out why those are, and you solve those problems. Like I said, I'm looking for significance. So I join people who are doing the same thing that I can do the same thing they're doing, then I feel significant. Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you very much, brother. So once you realize that it's an outward influence that draws you all over the place, you realize, go back in, just like Michael Neal said in the Inside Out Revolution, we control everything from the inside. Everything, every reaction, every action, everything that we want, wish, have, don't have, or whatever it is, we control it from the inside. So when you realize you control it from the inside, and you realize when you're honest with yourself that you're breaking that shell, you're breaking that you're peeling the onion back, so you don't have to act like everybody else. You don't have to wait for cues from society to tell you who to be and what to be. And then the transparency is how you communicate that. Hey, everybody, how you doing? So the transparency part is how do you communicate that honesty that you have with the other people around you, right? You do it without an expectation and without an agenda. If anybody listening to this guy that changed your life most personally, thank you, Guy. Thank you very much, brother. Isn't that mind-blowing? Think about that for a second. You show up fully and completely with no expectation and no answer, and you're creating radiant value that changes lives forever. Then you go back into yourself and say, no longer shall I live my life according to society's rules. I live it to my rules. You know why? Because they're the universal, natural, human rules, standards, and moral compass of your life, not of their life or what they tell you what's right, not what science says, not what anybody says, what you say. And of course, we all have beliefs and we all have a past. And that's where the honesty and transparency comes in to break through that, find out who you truly are and find your purpose. Just showing up in a moment of need, in a moment of problem, just showing up to a networking event, right? Just showing up to a networking. I'm going to show you how to use this right now. Go to the grocery store. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? Oh, I'm going out to watch it on replay. I can tell this is live. Hey, Richard, how you doing? All right. Inside Out. Yes, indeed. You decide. Chrissy, yes. Mind-blowing. So I'm going to give you a way to test this, right? You go to the grocery store. You go to a networking event. You go somewhere where there's a bunch of people, school, wherever you work, whatever. And you show up as you are, knowing in your mind that because you're showing up fully and completely with no distractions, you're not in your phone, you're not doing anything, you're just moving, right? And showing up fully and completely. And you're showing up and giving radiant value and you're elevating everyone around you. Tell me what happens when you do that. Tell me what happens when you do that. How do people treat you? How do people act? What do people say to you? What's it feel like? And then once you feel that, you'll never want to go back to being someone who lives according to society. So, Demetra, I really watch TV, but it's so noticeable how people emulate what they see. It's scary. It is. You're exactly right. It's scary. Everyone just copies. No one listens for themselves anymore. And I have to tell you this. I am doing what I'm doing, and I am where I am, and I can meet the people that I meet, and I can have the people on my podcast who have on my podcast, which is incredible people. Tim Story the other night, it was crazy. And Dean Graziosi and whoever, and the people that I've met in my life, and the people, and you guys. And I can only do this, and I can only talk without a script, because I'm coming from here, from myself. I don't care what Beyonce says or Bush or who Clinton or whoever, Trump. I don't care what they say. They're not dictating my life, right? And I'm not saying life. I'm saying my output, right? That's external. Everything I do comes from the internal. Obviously, we all make mistakes. I do make mistakes too. I have a little bit of problem as well. Thank you, Karen. I have problems sometimes as well. I have downtimes, depression, all that kind of stuff. But this is where integrity comes in. Integrity isn't what you've done. Integrity is how you deal with what you've done, right? It's always the outcome. It's always the result or the byproduct of how you deal with a situation, good or bad. Yeah. Feels good, doesn't it? Feels good, doesn't it? Go to the park tomorrow and be that person. Go to the park tomorrow and walk around, shake everybody's hand. Go home and go to work. Go to the grocery store. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Hey, looking great. All right. Yeah. And just be that person that's showing up for no freaking reason at all. Just show up and be the beaming light of radiant value. Sound good? You guys take me up on that? I hope so. Because that, my friends, that right there, that almost guarantees one thing. You know what that is, right? That guarantees quality of life. And that, my friends, hey, Liz, how you doing? Good to see you. That guarantees quality of life. Exactly. Transparency is real life. So, to cover it again, being HIT, honesty, integrity, transparency, means showing up with no agenda, with no wish to have an answer, just to show up fully and completely for that very, very moment, for that person that's in front of you right there, creates purpose in your life and creates radiant value for them to solve their own problems, right? Living according to what society says you got to live keeps you away from that. So you go in, you find out honestly who you are, and you communicate that transparently, and you will be on fire. Okay, you got it? And that's right. Guy just wrote from San Diego, QOL, meaning quality of life. That's what I wish for you, and that is what I pursue. And therefore, Nikki, QOL. Therefore, you got to go out and get it. You got to go out and fight for it. You got to grab it and make it yours. But in the end, you decide from the inside what happens on the outside. Okay, everybody? Have a fantastic one. And I wish you a fantastic weekend as it is Friday. We will see you Monday. I don't do weekends anymore. Taking that time off for the familia. And remember that one thing that I always say. It's all about quality of life. See you guys. See you all on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Love you all. Honest to God, I do. All right. We'll see you. Bye-bye. And Facebook is gone. All right. And now we're going to YouTube. Thank you very much, YouTube, for coming on. Nobody ever watches it, but